Hey kids, Uncle Clockwork here. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Usually I'm talking about toys or recommending some videos or music or speaking to pop culture. Today I'm going to talk about some of my other interests. As I mentioned in my introduction, I'm interested in things like ancient wisdom, forbidden knowledge, and lost civilizations. So today I'm going to be talking about that. You can call it Ancient Wisdom, Forbidden Knowledge, and Lost Civilizations 101. If you're interested in the toys and you're not interested in this kind of thing, I've got plenty of other videos. Just take a look at those. This topic can get kind of controversial, and not many people agree with Uncle Clockwork on some of the subjects. But I know some of my nieces and nephews have come to me wanting to know what I know. And I'm willing to impart my wisdom to them and my experience. And that's what I intend to do so in these little lectures. So today, in Ancient Wisdom, Forbidden Knowledge, and Lost Civilizations 101, we're going to give you your first lesson. Okay? It's a lesson that I call The Two Truths. But we're going to start out first with a little lead in. So let me get my notes out. So I'm sure you've heard the expression, knowledge is power, right? Well, now, all power comes with a price. So ergo, all knowledge comes with a price. Now, real knowledge equals real power. So it will never be available for free. You must either pay for it, or you must earn it. And do not confuse the two. Just because you pay for something doesn't necessarily mean you've earned it. Now, those who possess real knowledge will protect it, as real knowledge grants real power. If you know something about this reality, this world, that your fellow man or woman doesn't know, then you have an advantage over that person. And if taken to extremes, slaves are made in this way. So the gatekeepers of real knowledge will always be guarded about who gets to be in the know. Now, the price for pursuing this kind of knowledge is hefty. For what is forbidden knowledge? Well, forbidden knowledge is any evidence or any evidence-based fact or information that goes against the narrative. Okay? Now, you'll hear that term tossed about a lot, especially in political circles. Who's controlling the narrative? Who controls the narrative? All right. So what is the narrative? Well, put simply, the narrative is the official story. Now, the narrative is its history, its culture, it describes who we are, where we come from, what we're doing, what we're meant to do. It describes what has happened and what is currently happening. It is the story that is told by our various institutions all over the planet. Educational, spiritual, religious, political, military, industrial. So your place of worship, your school or university, your government, your military, these are the people who are in charge of the narrative, and they are responsible for its maintenance. So, repeating the narrative will earn you favor or reward. Contradicting the narrative or questioning it will earn you punishment. And as I said, evidence based fact information that goes against the official narrative is what's called forbidden knowledge. And anything that contradicts the narrative will be punished. So the price for seeking or acquiring forbidden knowledge, either deliberately or accidentally, is you will be punished. At the very least, you will be ridiculed, pestered, bothered, harassed, investigated, and even threatened. But let's be clear, contradicting some narratives can get you killed. So, not gonna lie, your old Uncle Clockwork probably has a death sentence in at least half a dozen countries, that I can think of, due to the nature of my investigations and my inquiries. Pretty sure the Vatican's probably got a little file on me because I've got a big file on them. Stuff like that. But let's be fair, there are places I simply can't go because of what I am as opposed to what I do. I'm a white American male, ginger. That alone can get me killed in a lot of areas. So, needless to say, the pursuit of forbidden knowledge doesn't leave much time for family. It's another price you might pay. And it will earn you just as many enemies as it does friends. Because even though the pursuit of this knowledge will push you to the edge, you will not be alone on the fringe. Okay? Now that's a term I like to use, the fringe. What is the fringe? Well, the fringe is just another word for border. It's the border of knowledge and culture. It is where the known meets the unknown. It is also where the narrative fights the truth. Which brings me to our main topic of our lesson, the two truths. All right. Now, there are two truths, and if you're going to be seeking knowledge of this variety, you need to learn to distinguish between the two. All right. The first is what I call empirical truth. Okay, empirical truths are evident, self-evident. They apply to everyone and everything. They are observable, measurable, demonstrable, provable, predictable, repeatable. And they are undeniable. Unless you're dealing with someone who has a true mental illness or is just being a contrarian. Basic math is a good example of an empirical truth. They're descriptive. Basic math is like a descriptor of an empirical truth. Okay. For example, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now, no matter how you say that, de, tu, ni, that many plus that many equals that many. Okay. 4, 4, she, however you choose to say it, this many, put them together, you got that many. Okay? That's an empirical truth that applies to everyone and everything that is conscious and understands. Okay? Even animals can basically grasp that kind of, you have this many, you got that many. Okay? So, that'll bring me to my second type of truth. Okay? The second type of truth is called what I call subjective truth. And it's a little trickier. Subjective truths only exist within the mind of those who perceive them. They only exist for an individual or a group of individuals who share a certain perspective, a belief, an ideology. So, for an example of subjective truth, and I'll probably get a lot of flack for this, but this is the best example I can give you. Please, this is an educational lesson. Let's not be all, pissy about it. The statement, Jesus is Lord, is a subjective truth. Now, to the Christian, that is an empiric truth, okay? That applies to everyone and everything. Regardless of who you are, what you believe, no, Jesus is Lord. They will claim that that is an empiric truth. However, to the followers of Judaism, or Islam, or Buddhism, or Taoism, so on, Jesus is not Lord. Jesus is a teacher, a prophet, perhaps a bodhisattva, but he is not Lord. Okay? That is a subjective truth. Now, to the Taoists or the Buddhists, they perceive Jesus as like a bodhisattva. To the Muslims, they perceive him as a prophet in the same line as Muhammad, but Muhammad was the last one. To the tribe of Yanomamo in the Amazon, Jesus doesn't even exist for them. Not unless you go tell them about him. In that case, that again is you're bringing a subjective truth to them to experience. But they know not of Jesus, and if you hadn't told them about him, then, maybe he wouldn't exist. But that does. Empiric truth versus subjective truth. Now, forbidden knowledge deals with both of these, because the narrative is comprised of both subjective truths and empiric truths. It combines the two. And forbidden knowledge really is any evidence that contradicts the subjective truths of the narrative. You can't really contradict empiric truths. You can't contradict that. But you can contradict the statement Jesus is Lord, if you are not a Christian. And again, that is just an example that I'm pulling out of my hat because that's the example that it was given to me. So any empirical evidence yielding an empirical truth which contradicts any given narrative will be met with extreme resistance. That evidence, that knowledge, that information then becomes forbidden by those who seek to protect the narrative. And depending on the type of empirical truth that is uncovered, they may attempt to destroy all the evidence so that the narrative remains protected, as does their power. See, like I said, knowledge is power, and all power comes with a price. Now, old Uncle Clockwork isn't going to charge you for the lecture. Now, I am going to encourage you to buy some books, though. I'll always encourage you to buy some books. And don't worry, if I recommend any, I'm going to try and steer you clear from all the charlatans and the carnival barkers and the fame seekers. I like authors who are authors that perform excellent investigative research. They border on good journalism, good solid, just give me the facts. Let me make the interpretations. I don't mind speculative writing, as long as the author doesn't try to present their speculations as facts. I know good authors will gather the evidence together, and yes, they will form a hypothesis or make a speculation based upon the evidence, but they will not be afraid to tell you, okay, this is the speculation, here's the evidence, here's what I'm speculating. And then we all, as adults, can discuss. Okay. So, I'll try to steer you in the direction of those guys, all right? Now, I don't mind paying any money, of course, for a well-researched book. I mean, these guys have done their research, they took the time, some of them put themselves in danger, and, they brought that knowledge to us. And I believe they should be compensated fairly for that effort. But I'm very wary of the guys who are the sensationalists. And you know who I'm talking about. Casting a stern eye over at the ufology contingent right now. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you History Channel Ancient Alien guys. Man, you're not helping. So, beware of the sensationalists. Especially the guys who, all their facts don't get supported outside their own fan base. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Clockwork's not going to give you those guys. He'll shoot you in the direction of someone decent. So for your homework, if you can, I want you to check out this guy. These guys. Michael Cremo and Richard Thompson. Okay, this hefty book right here, Forbidden Archaeology, The Hidden History of the Human Race. This will get you started. This is very dry, technical reading. Gathers a lot of evidence, not much speculation. It's just providing a lot of good evidence, okay, about the civilization that came before ours. Now, that's all I'm going to say. He also has a good section here about how our concept of history has been crafted since about the mid-1800s by the publishers, and who got to choose what got published. So, again, Michael Cremo, Richard Thompson, Forbidden Archaeology, The Hidden History of the Human Race. If you can check this out, do so. That's your homework. All right. Now, if you want to pay for that book, I think off the shelf this costs like right around $45. It's a pretty hefty price, but again, knowledge is worth paying a price. So, that's it for this time, kids. Until next lecture, that's Uncle Clockwork, clocking out.